All right. Camera A. Ka-chow. Looks pretty in focus to me. Good. Camera A. Good morning, chili dogs. What you focus on? Gross. Don't forget. To feed the horses. So we did all the most recent short. If you look at it, we finished all those cups that we made, those mugs. Last maybe like a couple days ago. So now we're back in the grind, but before we do that, I want to finish the water whistles from this batch. So I'm gonna make little tubes. I didn't like those little spiral tubes that I made at the end of the last stream. Bad, very bad. So instead of that, we're going to just throw normal tubes and connect them. We'll revisit that idea maybe sometime in the future. It just doesn't look good right now, you know? I'm not gonna make it just look bad for no reason, you know? Anyway, let's get into it. Ka-chow. So we have a really hard chunk of clay that's going to be almost unusable, but that's what we're going to use to make our little pieces here. I feel like, you know what we'll do? Let's do one thing before we start. I think we can change. We have a camera called Desk. You see how that camera isn't really doing anything right now? Let's bring this camera over to here. And let's just call this desk. Okay. I think that'll look kind of nice. Anyway, so we're at desk. Can we see your shelf full of stuff? My shelf? What shelf? The one that's behind the curtain over there? No, that's just all... Alright, I can... Sure. I don't want to stream for too long today, so I'm going to keep it a little... Alright, come on. Let's bring this guy over here. And behind door number 1. We gotta take the little clothes hanger out of here. Behind door number 1. Whoa. We got all this random stuff. I'll show you guys. I can't go any more to the other side, but I just have a couple of shelves full of random things. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to our main thing. It's just kind of all old stuff, just random things. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with it, so sometimes it's actually a little bit of a curse that I have to deal with that stuff still. No, it's not secret. It's just not really stuff that's I don't know. All right, put this there. Move this over to this side. Okie dokie. And so this clay, I'm going to show you guys a double little clay inspection here, okay guys? This is the clay that we're going to be using. And this is like soft clay, right? And so I want you guys to kind of see the difference here. Okay. So, if I'm looking at this stuff here, right? Look at this. Like, rah, 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 rah. Hard, right? This is hard clay. Now look at this. Rah, 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 rah. Soft clay, okay? Rah, 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 rah. Hard clay, soft clay. Soft clay is like nice for a lot of things. Not what we're trying to do. When you're throwing small, I like throwing with hard clay, but it also means that it's going to be kind of like obnoxious to center the clay, right? But we're not really centering, we're just throwing it off the hump. A bit of water on here. Oh gosh. Okay. Now we gotta bring this right here. All right. Close in. You see how I just dampen that surface before I put this on there? Just because this is so dry and so difficult and hard that it's gonna want to just not actually attach. So just dampening that surface just a tad. You don't want it wet, but just a little bit. It'll be good. I like that. How to tell the difference. Soft clay gets damaged by aggro boops. Hard clay accepts aggro boops. I guess I really didn't explain what it feels like, but I do like what you said. Oh, why is that so low on there? Hold on. Space? Space? I guess it's okay. You can kind of see what I'm doing up above here. And to throw these little things, that's all we're gonna do. It's literally like as if we're throwing off the hump. And we'll do a couple different sizes of these little tubes, because these are gonna be for our water whistles. We don't want to go too thin. That's the biggest thing that's gonna ruin your water whistles, is going too thin on your little edge here, right? Just make sure you go, like, what's the word? Like, make sure you have those edges thick, right? If they get too thin, you're screwed, because they're gonna want to break. I wonder if what are we gonna do here? We're gonna try. Now, what do we want to do? Do we want to leave a bottom and then flip it over and then trim it, right? Or do we want to no bottom and then risk it being distorted? That's the real question here. Alright, let's try the first instance of doing this is going to be with this little tool. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I will risk it. So, you see I have this little thing here. I guess I left some of this, but this will be one tube. Okay, what do I call this floor thing again? Is this mini wheel? Mini wheel? No. Shelf? There we go. We'll do one right down here. Okie dokie. Our second one here. We'll make a couple of them because you never really know what you want. It feels so bright. Yeah, I turned the contrast down, and then what is it called? Contrast down, and yeah, you can see the green screen now, right? I realize that it's just gonna be so much easier if I don't key it out now, and then I key it out when I want to in videos, so then I can just put whatever I want behind myself. Oh, I kind of hit a fast spot there. All right, again, right underneath here. I love the dark, high contrast feel, but I understand. Yeah, I did too. I kind of miss it, to be honest. But it just isn't good for like Like when I try to edit, I feel like just is a little bit easier when I don't have to, like as soon as I have to key out like dark colors, it was getting all funky. Alright, we actually really hate this one. Alright, let's bring this in a little bit more. Okay. Because we were too tall where we couldn't get to the bottom of it. They don't need to be that tall anyway. Well, today's going to be kind of boring because there's not really anything fun going on right now. Like it'll be mostly just me making these little tubes. I don't even need to make that many. But I should make some that are not as wide. Like these are both pretty wide ones. Grab your little, I almost feel like maybe I was taking too much. Maybe I gotta do just less. Maybe I'll use my pinky when I get it a little bit more narrow. Let's see though. Again, right out to the side, just a little bit here. Alright. Now let's bring this in a little bit more. Round this off. Pinky right underneath. Alright, another little tube. Come on here, dude. My personality reminds me of the Stay Flexy guy. Do I come off as that granola of a human? I feel like when I see him, he reminds me of like a woodland guy, like a rock climber, camper kind of dude. Does the more slender tube produce a higher pitch? No, the more slender tube, sometimes they can allow bubbles to form, right? Because if you have a narrow opening, right? If you have a narrow opening on the top, only so much air can get through, right? And so when you go to pour in the tube here that's connecting the two vessels, if it's narrow or a lot, it's going to allow more or less water. Sometimes there's not enough, the holes on each side, one through the whistle and one through the main thing, they're too small, so there's nowhere for air to go. So when you're tilting it over, I mean, think about what happens when you tip a bottle and there's that bubble. It's going to go back through the tube. So sometimes the smaller tube can create bubbles to sound, so it doesn't sound like a normal whistle. It'll sound like, you know. You seem very in touch with our planet. It's a good thing. I feel like I haven't gone outside for enjoyment probably in like 2-3 years. I feel like the only time I've interacted with nature is in a video game. But anyway, bring this in a little bit. But that's why you can have different kinds of like little tubes there, right? I do like nature though. It's just I don't get to interact with it very often. You have trouble making the tops of your pots narrow. Any tips? Yeah, what's happening? Why is it, what's going on when you're trying to make it narrow? Is the shoulder buckling? Is you just have a hard time getting your finger on the inside? Tell me about it. Maybe I can help a little bit. A little bit too much. I actually made this probably wrong. It's way too tall. So we'll see if we can just keep this top part though, and maybe we'll get a couple out of this. Because the long ones actually, they're not helpful. You might be like, oh, the long ones would really be cool to do on your water whistles. No, they're actually the opposite. Don't cut off like right there. Alrighty. The tips usually come out really uneven and really thin despite it not being too tall. Huh. So they come out uneven on the top, but they're still really thin. Like, I would say a lot of that has to do with the way you do your shoulder, probably. Like, I'll give you an example here, right? Like, if you have the shoulder of your pot is like here, right? And it's like super like thin right on your shoulder. And then you start above this. Sometimes when you push down or when you're pushing in, you're not like aligning the clay properly. That's why like I always start below where the shoulder is and I work it up from that shoulder and then in and then create that little bump, and then I can slowly just walk that up, right? Because if you keep starting up here and you have any downward pressure, you're gonna like put a dent in it, right? And then, or it's just gonna be a little bit thin here. So then it's hard to keep everything aligned on the top. No matter what, like when you're throwing a big vessel, unless you're like throwing is like pristine, you're gonna end up with a little bit of a tilt. You just get that, you just cut that off. Also, something to make sure is too is like, watch what I'm doing here with this little tube. I'll show you here in a second. Here, let me fix it. So watch me find this little bump, right? So even though I'm throwing small, look at me find this bump. And you gotta be pretty slow with how fast you're going up when you're working small and narrow. Because if you look at the wheel, right? Look at my hand here. So if I keep it the same speed. right? Now watch what happens when I go out farther. Right? And then watch what happens when I get like right on this rim here. So the speed is not like the speed of the wheel is slowing down, but how far you are from the edge is actually making it like it's spinning faster, right? It's like the same idea as like when you're make a right turn, the left side of your car is moving faster than the right side, right? So you just want to make sure, like when you're working really narrow, you're pretty slow with how fast you're lifting that clay up, right? And that will help you keep it a little bit more even, probably. And then also when you're collaring, I would say too, if you want it really thin, throw it pretty thin right now while you still have access, because eventually you're not going to be able to fit your finger down inside of this in here, right? So throw it thinner, then collar it into place at the very end. You know, some people would say, no, you want to make sure you do a pull after each collar so then you can realign the clay, but hey, you know, teach their own, right? But see, you can get it pretty narrow in there. You can also use a little tool, like you could do like a pull with a tool, but I think that's kind of more annoying, to be honest. I would just throw it a little bit thinner and then collar. But when you collar, just really make sure, a lot of people when they collar, they have like they're tilting their hands one way or the other. Make sure it's really even and you go in and wait for the clay to buckle over your fingers. It'll be like a little, like if this is a clay, my finger's a clay, you'll have like a little, oh here, you're like a little, here, your collar, and then you'll get a little chunk of clay that bellies out over top. Then you pull that up, right? Then you collar. So I think that would probably help you out a little bit, maybe. It does seem like you're probably going too thin on the top. So start with your pot a little bit thicker too. Potters, I'm not the only one. I've always wanted to pick up pottery. All seem to have collective childhood where you made mud pies in the backyard, which I also did. I didn't make I was a Lego kid. All right. Anyway, yeah, let me get the water off. I can make this so much easier if I just get all this clay on my pants. Yeah, I hope that. I feel like I wish you had like a little a little pottery setup, and then I could just like watch you throw, and I could give you a better exact tip, you know. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, that was like, I'm gonna do that from now on. That worked out perfect. All right, look at that little tube. That one's too small though. Not a good one, but that was just to show you, you know. But I think the key is when you're doing these is you just want to make like a variety. How thin are we on this top here? Could we do, let's see. And two, you might be trying to throw too tall for what you can at that moment, you know. Like I think a lot of times, like people, there's so much clay on the bottom, but they're not being able to move that clay on the bottom, and so they keep throwing like the top half of their pots. So the tops keep getting thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. Where it's really like you want to make sure that you can get you want to be able to cut your pots in the cylinder mode, and it's just even all the way throughout. If you keep having those thick bottoms, then you're probably going to keep running into that problem where that top is just getting way too thin usually. So you might be trying to go too tall with what your capability is in that particular pot, you know. Alrighty, come on here, little dude. Alright, we're gonna just cut off this top here. Come on. I got a little bit thin on that top there, so I'll just cut that down. Okay. This will probably be a good sized tube, to be honest. Look at that. Again, a little bit of water. Zoom? Oh yeah, it's not tall. I'll make the zoom is too zoomed in, I feel like. And this is like a zoom camera for like right when I'm you know, what's the word? Here. Is this okay, guys? Do you like the other side, other camera better? Put a knife tool right on the side. There you go. I think I like the other camera better, to be honest. Camera A. I'm just having this zoomed in. I think it just looks a little bit nicer, to be honest. I don't think it really changed too much. We actually only needed to make that many, because I think I only have 1, 2, 3. I only have 5 water whistles I gotta make. But somebody says yes, better. You like the small ones more, or is that what you mean by better? Like I said earlier, the small ones and the big ones, that you actually sometimes need ones that are a little bit larger or wider, because you don't want to stop. You don't want to limit the water flow in the water whistle too much, or else it's going to kill the sound. Oh no, the FBI. The FBI is on me, guys. That's so funny. You know, there's a guy in here a couple days ago. His name was like YouTube support. And he's actually funny because he was like moderating the chat, even though he wasn't like moderating. He was just saying that he was. And I believed it for a second. I was like, why is there YouTube support in here? And then he trolled me, so I appreciate it, FBI. I don't know how you got into the field of stream trolling. Did you like see somebody do it one time and was like inspired to make a channel name or like a name tag that you could troll people with? Like I always wonder what the intro was. All right. Let me just top in. Don't worry, I wasn't reprimanding you. I was just saying, like, I wonder what the introduction to it was. Like, how'd you start? Because that's like a lot of time to put into making a channel to troll. Like, did you see it somewhere and you were like, oh, I want to try it out? Like, I'm actually genuinely curious. I'm not I'm not trying to be an asshole. Alright, I think this will be good enough. Make sure that top is a little bit If you see how it's a little bit uneven though on that top, that's so funny. That's so funny. That happened so quick, yo. The CIA and FBI are here, dude. Alright. Again, right underneath here, just enough until you get that out. And you can go over here. Alrighty. Probably got a couple more we'll make. No, it's real, Gail. They're messing with us. Yeah, I do feel like one time I did have somebody who was the Duolingo person. There was a couple streams that I did where there was a lot. I was making a lot of things, where I got a lot of views, right? And I think the real Duolingo was in there, which I always think is funny. Have you ever seen like Duolingo's YouTube stuff? I feel like it's kind of funny. Their online marketing is really good. I don't even know what the NSA and FIB is. Alright. Again, we're bringing this up. A little bit of water underneath. Alright. Again. Bro really doesn't know. Then tell me what it is. What is the NSA? I feel like when it comes to all that, anything dealing with anything remotely political, I just have no idea. Is it really that? I feel like that doesn't sound right, to be honest. How about we call it, the NSA is the Nutrition Salvation Agency, and they give everybody free ice cream all the time. National Security Authority. My voice is so contorting. What does that even mean? Okay, hold on, I gotta pay attention. Isn't the NSA Super Nintendo? The Nintendo Super Agency. Oh, I'm so glad the Nintendo Super Agency is around. They're keeping Mario in check, yo. Mario has been rampant these days. Alright. We got one more little, we'll maybe make two more little tubes. We got another little one here. We'll do maybe, because I like out of those, I like 4 out of those ones that I think I would actually use. So I'll make a couple more. I think these, I'm kind of getting in a good zone here. Close in. Zoom. No, I guess I gotta keep it here. We'll do this. Let's see if I can bring this up a little bit more. So you guys can kind of see what I'm doing up here. Space. All right. I pick a spot. I just slowly pull it up. Again, I pick a spot again. And I kind of make that corner. And I pull it up. And then I go back down to the bottom. Get a little water on there. And I go underneath. Push that out just a little bit. I find that little bump and I just walk that right up. And it's a little bit thin now, so then on purpose, so then we can color that in and not worry about it too much. Now we can go back in because it's a little bit thicker and do another little pull here. And the top's uneven. We can just cut that off. Roll this around. Awesome. Okay. And then we'll smooth this all out, and we got another one here. Alright. Well, here, let me get some of this water off my hands. Okay. Right underneath this edge here. What is this? I forget. Shelf? Shelf? Yeah, that's shelf. So we got our other one there. Do one more probably. I think that should be good enough. And then with the rest of it, we'll make like some little swirly boys. And then after the swirly boys, we'll be done. This is just kind of like, because I gotta wait for these to dry to do the, what is it called? The water whistles. We gotta have them dry a little bit. I should have made them a while ago. We actually did make some, but they didn't feel right, you know? Yeah, until we can assemble them to form the Megazord. Alrighty. It's actually working kind of nice if I dry my hands a little bit and I go from the outside, pushing this in. And you see how it just kind of breaks off right in my hand, and it keeps it pretty circular, right? So this is actually kind of a nice way to do that. Instead of having one finger, I was having one finger on the inside before, but I realize now that that's probably not the right way to do it. Okay. Close in. Alright. Camera A. Camera A. We'll make our little squiggly boys, and we'll put those in a, I don't even know what it's called. I'll put it with this guy right here. All right. Okay. Closing. This one didn't fold too well, so we'll throw that one away. So we gotta have it not cut underneath of it as much. Underneath, pull this up just a tad. Pull that out. This right underneath here. This one is a little bit better. These little swirly boys. So we gotta start raking in these ones because we've been having too many of, not enough of those. What happened to my camera? Camera A? Camera A? I kind of like this one. This one, I don't know too much about. I think this one's kind of meh. The hard clay is actually makes these a little bit less nice, I feel like. goes okay. I think I should use a different tool, actually. I have that sharper one that I think would probably work a little bit nicer. Alrighty, there we go. Yeah, I think that one was nicer. This way that the tool kind of cuts more underneath of it, rather than kind of right above it. This way I can kind of use this hard clay for something, which will be kind of nice. You enjoyed the few times that I threw the trees using porcelain. What I remember of when I was doing the trees and porcelain, I remember me complaining a lot about using the porcelain. Maybe it was different for the viewer experience, but my memory of it was I didn't like the. This one's kind of nice. Look at that. There, why not just. Kind of cool, right? So split rim. You said yes, I did. You know, which is funny because when I look back at it, whenever I go upstairs and I see all the trees, you know, the porcelain ones were actually pretty tall too, which is kind of funny. Maybe I was just using more clay, but they kind of just like are really. I think I did a good job on those ones. Yeah, I just I don't even know what I'm gonna be. I just had I finished taking photographs of all those tiles, so I'm going to be probably making some glaze content on my shorts coming up, which I think will be kind of fun. But I can't imagine, I don't know, I don't think I'm going to be glazing the trees anytime soon, but the tiles I think look nice though. I stayed up like till 4 a.m. the past like 3 nights working on those dang tiles, which has been kind of obnoxious, but it's okay. We're almost done here, guys. Maybe I'm gonna make some flat ones. A little water underneath. Yeah, I don't think I'll use porcelain anytime soon though. I do think I want to make some like terra sigillata stuff here coming up. This one kind of looks terrible, but we keep. Alright, so we want this to buckle. So we go slow. There we go. A little W for. It looks like the. It looks like the Star Wars, the Empire. Their little insignia. You know, like the red one. That's kind of fun. But I can imagine this looking good on the side of something. Okay, shelf. That's what we did today there, guys. Just a quick little thing. We started making the whistles too, so we'll put those together. I don't know if I'll do it on stream though. I'll kind of see what my plan is here, because I want to do them, but I think just like when I trimmed, I just don't want to trim on stream. I feel like that's like so boring. And I feel like even just throwing these tubes and stuff is a little boring too. So, I don't know. We'll see what I'm going to do here in a little bit. But let's zoom this out a tiny tad. And we'll see. Oh, you guys weren't supposed to see that. Ka-chow. Good evening, chili dogs. Thank you guys for watching. Again, we just made some tubes for the water whistles. We're gonna be putting those together. You know, maybe we'll do that tomorrow when we get home. I'll do it on stream, fine. And they're gonna be kind of quick too. So tomorrow we'll finish the five water whistles, and then that means Sunday we're back on the grind for batch number 3, which will be cool. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. All the best and strong mentality. Can I say goated 1? Does that work yet? No, doesn't work? Okay. Ka-chow. Ka-chow.